Hi everybody, and welcome to my mess. Today I'm going to show you how I make rested paper and fabric. Everybody's got their own way and there is no right or wrong. So I've already pre-sprayed the fabric I have down here, mostly because it's windy and I didn't want to have to fight it while I was trying to make a video. So I'm spraying, and I've placed a few rusty pieces on top of it to keep it in place. And this is how I start my layers. And I do quite a few layers. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of layers right now, but I'm going to try to show you what I do. So I use mostly flat things because with the papers it's just easier. With fabric you can use a lot of other things. And if you have some really cool things like these really awesome faucet handles, I use those at the end where I can put them on top and I don't have to worry about them poking a hole in the papers. So what I do is after I've started with my fabric, I do a layer of paper, and if it's not wet it won't work. And what I'm spraying with is about half and half, maybe even a little more vinegar and water. A little more vinegar than water. And I'm just going to put these down and soak them. And you know, if it's not a windy day, you can lay them all down and you don't have to do them one at a time. But because it's kind of windy today, I'm doing this. Just about any papers will work. I haven't found anything that hasn't worked. I've done paper doilies, and I've done ledger paper, and oh, I'm drawing a blank. Deli paper, that's it. And that's really cool because like deli paper you can lay across this big thing right here, and it'll just conform to it and it really makes a good impression. You notice I sprayed the gear first because I wanted to make sure it was wet when laying the paper down. And I'm going to move it over a little to the side because I have this little cool ring right here, which I don't know if you can see. And I'm going to put this right there. And that's all I'm going to do is just layer fabrics and paper. Normally I do fabric on the bottom and then 2 or 3 layers of paper, and then I will cover it all up with plastic. So I'll get this down and then I'll show you my next step. Normally this whole table is completely full, but I wanted to keep it quick so we wouldn't go crazy. So my favorite things are little flat things. And that's what my little bag here is. And you can take them out and you can lay them perfect, or you can dribble them. You know, random's always a good thing. And washers are probably the best thing. And sometimes these sit in the bag and get little rust particles, and that makes a whole different texture on your thing, on your papers too. I love bottle caps. They make such a cool design. Some things I have certain ways I like them, and some things it just happens. Then I spray it again when I'm happy with it, or I just continue spraying it. It seems like the wetter it is, the better and faster. And anything is fair game. If it'll rust, it's going on my papers. It's going in my papers. It's going on my fabric. And some things that are kind of flat, like this little thing, I always try to lay them so they are flat. If we need one more bottle. So now I can lay another layer of paper up if I'd like. And I'll just put a couple of them on here. wet them down really, really good. Now what's under them, and you can see my hands are dirty, I'm leaving little rusty fingerprints. What's under them will bleed through too. That's why all my pieces are extremely rusty on both sides. So now I'm going to take my favorite little toys and make some, hopefully some good impressions of my faucets. Again, I'm just going to spray it down. I want to make sure it's good and wet. I want to make sure that all the metal is wet too, because that's what's rusting. Now I'm going to take a plastic cheap tablecloth and cover the whole thing, and I'll leave it. And since it's 6 o'clock at night, I probably won't mess with this till tomorrow. I'll come look at it, peek under the plastic, and if it's satisfactory, I'll pull it up. And if it's not, I'll soak it again. And never have I had to leave it even 2 full days. So that's how I rest paper and fabric. And again, you can put more layers on top. It's cool. You can do just a little bit at a time. I got this theory, if I'm going to stand out here in the heat and bend over the table, I might as well do as much as possible. Enjoy! So this has set for about 24 hours. Not that I usually leave it that long, but I got busy and kind of forgot about it. It's still wet. That's what happens with the fabric, is it stays wet. So I've kind of opened a little up here and there so that it kind of dries. And most of the paper is dry, but the fabric isn't. But I thought I'd let you see what it looks like. And there's this paper that didn't have much. There's my little faucet. But if you look at the other side, they got a lot, even though one side may not have. So, you know, gotta have room to journal on your papers. So that's kind of where we are looking at them now. Thanks.